So far this FM, we have created a high pressing tactic. We've even created a low block tactic. I guess it's time now to create that perfect mid block.
Big time, knowing that. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine.
Hello and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, my name is RDF and I promise you I don't do that in all my videos, but today it felt natural. So far in Football Manager, we have created a high pressing tactic, a low block, but today we are going to be sharing a perfect mid-block 4-2-3-1 tactic. It was tested at two teams, Real Sociedad, but also Sydney FC in Australia. There's one reason why. I guess we all have football players that we just like for some reason. Mine was Adam Lafondra. I mean, there's plenty, but one of mine was Adam Lafondra. At the time, he was playing at Reading, and also on Football Manager, he was just an amazing striker. He's on Twitter, so I decided to follow him over. He's at Sydney FC, so I just wanted to test the tactic out there and see how many goals he will score. But we also tested it at Real Sociedad as well, so we will check out the results right now. Whoa, before we do any of that, make sure you are subscribed and like this video. Liking this video, it's huge, people. It is huge. So I'm really going to need you to like this video. And also you can leave a comment as well. All of that is going to help the algorithm. It helps the channel and it also helps the video grow. Now I've got that out of the way because it is a bit cringy at times. But now we've got that out of the way, let's get stuck into the results. With Real Sociedad, we managed to finish third behind Barcelona and Real Madrid, of course. But we had 89 points, just 2 points behind both Madrid and Barcelona, as they both finished on 91 points. We had a better goal difference than Real Madrid as well, so things are looking interesting. In La Liga, the La Liga Santander, we did score the third most goals. We had the third most shots, the fifth fewest shots against. For the pass completion, not in the top 8, possession as well, but none of that is important. Seventh with the most tackles, not in the top 8 for the dribbles made, but we did have the most clean sheets in La Liga, and we also conceded the fewest. Looking at the top goal scorers, Umar Sadiq, our target forward, I've just given a spoiler. Target forward, Umar Sadiq was the second top goal scorer with 30 goals. For the most assists, we have 3 players in the top 8. Looking at the most shots for, of course, our target forward. Most man of the match awards, our target forward, and Mikel Oyarzabal. Most key passes, David Silva. Best pass completion, nobody in the top 8. Most tackles, 1. And for the most dribbles, well, we have 1 player in the most dribbles, Diego Rico. Most clean sheet, Alex Romero. And for the fewest conceded, it should be Alex Romero, but we got absolutely ripped off there. Now moving over to the data hub, just fairly quickly, we could look at the XG table. We were expected to score 74 goals, but we actually scored 80. Expected to have 72 points, but we actually got 89. And expected to finish third, which is exactly where we finished. We did overachieve, so if we go to La Liga, go to the season preview, we were expected to finish 6th, so around in that Europa spot, but we're sitting comfortably in that Champions League place. So we did overachieve in our first season with Real Sociedad. So that's Real Sociedad's results. What are the results that we got at Sydney FC? We've travelled all the way to Australia. We haven't played the AFC Champions League just yet, nor the FFA Cup. But in the A-League, we are on top of the A-League. The champions, we played 26 games and we won 20 of those, drawing 4, losing 2. Adam Lafondra was the top goal scorer for Sydney FC, but was he the top goal scorer in the league? And of course he did. In the A-League, he managed to score 18 goals, 4 more than Costa Barbarouses. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. But he came second. Adam Lafondra scored 4 more than him. Robert Mack has the most assists with Joe Lolly as well. So you might see some familiar names here. Interesting. Robert Mack actually had the most shots for Adam Lafondra in 4th. So Adam Lafondra's touches to goals conversion, it must be absolutely insane. Robert Mack with the most man of the match awards, Joe Lolly with the most key passes, best pass completion. We do have Andrew Redmayne, but again, not really important. Most tackles, 1, Ryan Grant's in the top 8. Diego Cabello and Robert Mack with the highest dribbles made, and Andrew Redmond joint top with the most clean sheets. Again, looking at the XG stuff, not only are we performing in the league, I believe Sydney were predicted to finish 2nd or 3rd, maybe 4th, but we won the league. But looking at the XG table, we are overperforming. We are expected to score 57 goals, we scored 67. Expected 59 points, we got 64. Expected to finish 3rd. Of course, we finished third. Defensive efficiency, now we were quiet, almost leaky, but I'm actually putting that down to the fact that we had one centre-back. He's actually a grayed out player. So many of the guys, so if I hover over my centre-backs, you can see Wilkinson and Jack Rodwell. Click, click, Jack Rodwell. But Jack Rodwell had to play in midfield, which meant that we've got Wilkinson, who sometimes needed a rest, and we just had to keep using grayed out centre-backs. Oh, we've got a centre-back sold here, Ben Warland, but I'm not actually quite sure when that was made. I don't know. I absolutely don't know. All I know is that we played through the season with one real central defender, and yeah, we got these fantastic results with one decent defender. But also looking at the attacking efficiency, if I can find it, aggressive and clinical. The data hub page looks very, very similar at Real Sociedad, but for now we are going to break down the tactic. We are also going to play a game as well. So let's get stuck in. Let's get stuck in to the tactic breakdown.
Big time, no man, no. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine.
Now, you may be wondering why I'm wearing this fantastic Galway United shirt, and that is because our friends at Surprise Shirts has sent us this beautiful top. Surprise Shirts on the website do an FM23 box. Inside this box will be a surprise shirt, of course, and the team will be a playable team in Football Manager for you to start your new save. Now, that for me just sounds like an absolute mwah of an idea. So if you are struggling to pick a team on FM23, no worries. Just get this box. Just get this. Just get this on Surprise Shirts. Now, when you do, when you do go to Surprise Shirts, the website, all you've got to do to get 10% off is use my discount code RDF. So when you go to the checkout, you can use the code RDF for 10%. But also, if there's a team or a league that you want to avoid, then make sure you tell them when you're checking out. There will be a little checkout box there, and you can specify any team that you do not want. For an example, I just do not want to manage Tottenham under any circumstance. So when I go to check out, I'm going to tell them, please, no Spurs, because I actually want to win something. I will see you on the website. Don't forget 10% off if you use RDF. Peace out. Surprise me. As usual so far this cycle, I've been fairly generous with the amount of tactics that I'm giving you guys. So today we have 3 different options. Once again, they're all very, very similar. They're all operating in the mid block because that is kind of the purpose with this tactic. So you can see a 4-2-3-1 mid-block here, another 4-2-3-1 mid-block, but you can see a slight role change, but also a slight tweak in possession. And then we have a third slot with, well, this is the one that I used in the A-League with Sydney FC, because Adam Lafondra simply cannot operate as a target forward. I tried to use pressing forward on attack. I felt pressing forward on support kind of gives you a similar result, similar gameplay as a target forward, just that the target forward is not a focal point. We're not just literally aiming for the target forward like we would in this tactic here. But let's break it down. So for the mentality, we have gone for the positive mentality. Attacking width is set to fairly wide. Oh my God, I've spelled everything. I spelled everything. Now, this tactic is using a fairly underrated instruction, in my honest opinion. I did use it at times in FM22. I do find it more effective in FM23. So this is the tactic. This is the base tactic here. Higher tempo, slightly shorter passing, work the ball into the box with low crosses. There is not actually low crosses. You can take that off considering we have a target forward, but there's not many instructions involved in transition. When the possession has been lost, we're not going to counter press. We're just going to leave it. And when possession has been won, we can then just counter attack. When the goalkeeper's in possession, he's going to slow the pace down, distribute the ball to the centre backs, and take short kicks by doing so. And out of possession, we are operating in a mid block, a much higher defensive line. Now, what we're actually doing here is minimizing that gap, minimizing the lines in between, the spaces in between. Considering we've got 2 DMs and an attacking midfielder, we have no one naturally in that central midfield position. So I feel closing the line, you're literally closing the spaces, you're closing that gap, and you're creating a very, very tough block to play through. Our trigger press is set to more often prevent the short goalkeeper distribution and get stuck in. Now, I wanted to talk about this instruction at the very, very end, because you can see the intensity it's fairly high. At times you might want to just click that and you can see that your intensity has increased once again. Now, I found this instruction very, Very useful for teams that aren't a Liverpool, that aren't a Manchester City, but you want to play that high pressure football. Now, I first did this at Southampton. Some of you guys might see this in my high pressing tactic at Southampton, where we're time wasting sometimes. What we're asking my team to do is just slow the pace down, because everything is happening rapidly. We're counter pressing, we're counter attacking. The tempo is on much higher. We're doing the trigger press much more often. Everything is happening rapidly. So sometimes we just need to slow the pace down, take a deep breath, and act composed. Now, that actually does work. You will notice sometimes, I notice sometimes in my Southampton save, especially when just little things, throw-ins, goal kicks, we aren't losing the ball so often because we're not rushing to make a decision, especially with players that have not the greatest decision making. So it does make sense and it does work. If you're chasing a goal, you obviously remove it. But for me, I literally start every game with time wasting sometimes, because we're just not one of those elite clubs trying to play, I would say, kind of elite football, because everything is happening at a high tempo. Everything requires some sort of technical ability. We're using 2 advanced forwards in Enganche, a role that we don't really use, but we will talk about that. 2 ball playing defenders, a wing back on attack. So we are using roles that require a lot of technical ability, some great decision making, sometimes just time wasting, slowing the pace down. I've also asked my goalkeeper to slow the pace down for the exact same reason. So that is kind of my secret weapon, time wasting sometimes. Now, for the second tactic, sometimes I just like offering a different tactic, a different solution. I use this against the bigger teams. The attacking width is now set to fairly wide, just trying to get the ball into those wider areas. We do now have a central midfielder or a defensive midfielder on defend, but also now we're trapping the opponents on the inside. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and I have to be honest with you. So sometimes it felt like Real Madrid would just fall straight into our trap in the middle, and then we just go boom on the counter attack. Or sometimes we will play a Barcelona where they just absolutely just hammer us, just absolutely hammer us. And in the third tactic, it's the exact same as the first one. We just have a slight tweak with the striker role. So now going to the player roles, this Football Manager, surprisingly, I rarely use player instructions. I always felt that you should be very light with player instructions. I don't feel that everybody should have a player instruction, or not everybody should have 3-4 player instructions, because you are also kind of taken away from the tactical style, but also the team instructions that you set. So for an example, you might have, I don't know, you might have much shorter passing, whatever, but then you're asking every single player to take a risk. You're not necessarily going to have a tactic where you're keeping possession really well, which might have been your aim in the first place. But then if you go to your player instructions and start adding take more risk, take more risk, take more risk, take more risk, it might be something that you want, but at the same time, if it is that much shorter passing, that ball retention that you do want, then it's not really a team or a player instruction that you want to add on every single player, just for an example. But at the back, we do have 2 ball playing defenders, both fullbacks. One is a wing back on the left hand side. We have a fullback on the right hand side, both on attack, and both have been asked to sit more narrow. Now, all this is doing when we are trying to build up from the back, because we don't actually have that instruction on, but when we are building out from the back, or just when the team's in possession, you would notice that they position themselves slightly more narrow, and actually if you do lose the ball, they're in a good position to stop a counter attack. In defensive midfield, we do have a defensive midfielder on support, a Segundo Volante, who has been asked to shoot less often. Sometimes he gets in some very good positions and he just takes the shot, because we are on that positive mentality. So he's trying to think positively. On the left hand side, we do have the inside forward on support, again sitting more narrow, being involved in play, but also helping our defensive shape. On the right hand side, we do have someone with a little bit more, I don't know, freedom, I guess. He doesn't have that sit more narrow instruction. The attacking midfield, we have the Enganche. The Enganche, I mean, I think if you translate this, it literally means hook. I think from Spanish into English, I think it literally just means the hook, and that's what it is, the connector. Everything goes through the Enganche. It doesn't necessarily mean he's highly creative. He might not get 30-40 assists as a playmaker, but what he is doing is linking up play. If the inside forward wants to get the ball to the target forward, or you know what I mean, if the Volante wants to get the ball to the inside forward, he may use the Enganche, and then the Enganche can get the ball out wide. So the Volante plays it to the Enganche plays the ball out wide. The defensive midfielder plays the ball to the Enganche gets it to the target forward. All he is doing is hooking up the attack, and we've asked him to shoot less often. Lastly, we do have a target forward taking more risk, but also moving into the channels. For the second tactic, the exact same, of course it is. And for the third one, we do have a pressing forward on support moving into the channels. Now, I did use a pressing forward on attack at first, and it really just messed up the flow of things. With a target forward, you still get, even though he's on attack, you still get him dropping deep, linking up play. He is a target forward. With a pressing forward, I wanted something similar. I wanted the striker to hold the ball up, because we do have two inside forwards trying to make runs off of him. So that there, whew, Jesus, that wraps up the tactic. Now it's time to play a very decent game. We've got Athletic Bilbao. Now, we actually might not win this. What I tend to do is I tend to choose home games, basically, because home games are easier. But also, if I'm trying to show you guys a tactical style, if I'm trying to show you this is how a tactic can play, it makes no sense for me to then play a very, very difficult away game where we don't actually get to see the football. Does that make sense? Now, I've had a few people moan and complain, why is it always a home game? Why is it always against an easy team? And that is literally the reason why. If I'm doing a high pressing, or let's say if I'm doing tiki-taka, if I'm doing tiki-taka with Manchester City, there's no point in me going away to Manchester United or away to Liverpool where we're going to have to defend a lot of the game. For me, that makes no sense. I want you guys to see the tiki-taka that can be played on Football Manager. But today we do have a mid-block tactic, so it is kind of different. We're operating in a mid-block, and kind of the purpose of this tactic is to try and overachieve and get results against teams like Athletic Bilbao away from home, who can be a very, very difficult game. So that is what we are going to play. Athletic Bilbao is still winnable, but it may be tough, and if we don't win this, then we're just gonna have to play Barcelona at home. I mean, we might not even win that, but let's get stuck into Athletic Bilbao away. So this is the team that we are going with. You can see that I'm actually playing my right winger at right back here today. Risque times, but let's go. There's Navarro, Munoz. Ah, Navarro, lovely play down the left-hand side. He's going to whip it. It's a thing. Oh, just wide. Unai Simon, Martinez, Vencedor. Let's press, boys. Let's press. That's ours all day. There we are. There we are. Baron. Yes. Mendes. Pull it back in the box. Ah, there we are. David Silva. There we are. Even though it's not Real Sociedad. But we forced an error. The ringer, the right winger, down at right back, plays it to Bryce. Mendes puts it in the box, and then there we are. Silva smashes it home. 1-0. So we are doing well. It looks like, look, we've had 8 shots, 6 on target, 8 socks. But also the skin is made by Wazzy. It's called Tato, but it's not made public yet. It is in a beta version. If there's anything that you would like to see added with this screen, especially, then let me know. Give me some feedback in the comment section. But it is 1-0 at half-time. We have frustrated Athletic Bilbao. They've had 53% of the ball, but they haven't managed to do anything with it. Just getting 2 shots. I don't believe any of those were on target. No, they weren't. And, oh, well, one was a half chance, and I don't know what the other one was. So we're still having shots, but the goalkeeper's having a decent day, clearly. Ika Munain. He's going to take a set-piece free kick, and it goes over the bar. You can see how deep Athletic are. Wow, their passing thing. I'm not sure how they're getting out of their half. Passing like that. You can see us playing to number 5, and then number 5 straight to number 3. Some nice link up on the left-hand side as well between Navarra and Munoz. It looks like this game is going to be a 1-0 sort of game. They've only had 2 shots on target, Bilbao, at home. And that wraps up the game. I mean, a lot of their highlights were literally just the commentary down below. And Real Sociedad, sorry, we won the game in the 3rd minute. I guess that's what time wasted does also as well. It allows you to get those sort of victories where you have 1 goal. If that second goal is not coming, just take your time. Just take your time. No need to rush. But unfortunately, that wraps up today's video. For you video nerds, I've got more clips at the end of this as well. So after my intro, I'll still show some more clips of the tactic playing out and you can see some more goals. But if you're new or you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like this video. Again, that is hugely important. And also leave a comment down in the comment section below as well. Shout out to all my Patreons. Shout out to all my new subscribers as well. My mouth is not even working. Shout out to all my new subscribers as well. Also to Surprise Shirts for sending us this lovely Galway United jersey. Make sure you do check out the link in the description below as well. I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe. Peace out. God bless. Boop. So for this game, we went away to MacArthur FC. We won 5-0. Very convincing. Let's watch the goals. Admiral Lafondra with a hat-trick. So the first goal of the game was the penalty. Absolute buried. Here's Jack Rodwell. Grant on the ball. Plays it over the top to Joe Lolly. He whips it in. First time. Lafondra 2-0 to Sydney FC. Here's Mack now. Robert Mack running wide with the ball. Plays it back to O'Toole. Burgess now. And that's a nice finish. That is a nice finish. It's 3-0 to Sydney FC. I have no idea what their defender just did there. Cruz. Oh, he loses. He was dallying. Lafondra completes his hat-trick in the first half in the opening 32 minutes. And for the fifth goal, for the fifth and last goal, all the goals were scored in the first half. And I just got a Football Manager crash dump literally just now. What a weird time to get a crash dump. That was weird. The second goal I want to show you guys. Perth Glory away from home. Again, 4-0. Another away game where we just absolutely dominated. Lafondra getting 2 this time. Disappointing. Disappointing. Joe Lolly and Max scoring in the 89th and 90th something minute. But here's Kakares with the ball. Oh, it's even changed my camera view. Here's Mac. Plays it into Lafondra. What camera view is this? I like it. Oh, it's still TV. Still TV, just must be a weird TV. It's Kakares. As Matt plays it to Lafondra, he breaks through. What a hit. Here's Grant on the ball. Plays it to Retri. Retri over the top to Joe Lolly. He's in space and he finishes it comfortably. And for the last goal, it's a free kick. Joe Lolly, far post, Mac, and that wraps up the points for another crash dump. This is weird. Yeah, this is likely going to be the last game I show because I've showed 2 games and it's just crash dumped on both games, which is really weird. That must be reported. So for the last game, hopefully no crash dump. Adam Lafondra scores another hat-trick, this time 6-0 win over Melbourne Victory, who were, by the way, second at the time of this game. They had no shots on target. Oh, Lord. But Joe Lolly with the first... He whips it into Rodwell. Oh, it's just bubbling. It's bubbling everywhere inside the box. It's 1-0 to Sydney. Melbourne Victory tried to clear it. It falls to our left back. Joe Lolly over the top. Lafondra. Oh, dirty finish. Here's Wilkinson on the ball. Plays it to Mac. Mac into Kakares. He's through. To Enganche round the goalkeeper and slots it in. For the fourth goal, Jack Rodwell with the ball. Plays it out to Caballo. He's going to whip it in surely. Whips it in Kakares and it's Jesus Christ. It is 4-0 to Sydney FC. Here's the fifth goal. Kakares plays it through to Parsons. Unselfishly cuts... Oh, well, I said unselfishly. That was... he didn't pass. He didn't pass. And for the sixth goal, Parsons over the top. Lafondra completes the hat-trick. Is it going to be a crash dump? And yes, it is. It's another crash dump. That is so weird. But... that wraps up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe. Peace out. God bless.